Call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space, because it's space couch time. Just, sometimes we got to start the show off with a little bit of space maintenance, and that's what we're doing today. We're just going to hit the coolant reject or expel, because I want to go at top speed, because this is going to be a great episode. All right. So we already said the catchphrase. How are you? Welcome back to space. It's been a minute. Took a week off. Just to sort of go over all the space controls and stuff, such, because as we like to say in the show, we do live on a nice edge of mortality, and the slightest miscalculation or miscalibration could send us hurtling into one of any number of suns. Speaking of heavenly bodies, this episode is brought to you by this week's sponsor. Brand new for this week, it is Tiger Squawk Records. Out new on Tiger Squawk, we have Crudmouth, figure of speech. That's me and Volt 9000 doing 90s grunge rock. Bitman's got a new one, Lockdown Lullabies. It's really great. Night Vibes from Ghost Proxy out of Canada. Then you want to check out Melting Opera from Germany. It's really crazy and weird. I got a remix on that. Virtual Terrorist, Gutter Mixes Volume 2. That's Meaty Cutbrain. That's me and Big Time Kill going nuts. You want to check out new from Industrial, Neon Roads. Did a cover. Sad Girls Club Volume 5 from Sydney's Isserly. Goth-Ick's got a new one out. It's called Animal Songs. And of course, Putting the Stars Right. We are going to get deep into the tentacled underbelly of that one today. Oh, crap. I screwed up. Hold on. Oh, no. We got caught in a Mobius strip. That's where time becomes a loop. Ray Calderon, Ryan Bates, and Industrial in the chat room today. We're just going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited about today's guest. We've known each other for a little bit, but I don't know them. So we're going to change that today. Ladies and gentlemen, premier promoter, Providence provocateurs, please welcome Goth-Ick Unscene. What's going on, guys?
Woo! In space with you, Brian.
Hey,
finally in space.
Yeah. I mean, I have a terrestrial base in Boston, but like that's just like a hologram, Like this is the flesh me is out here in the outer, unutterable cosmic void. But you know all about that. Let's start. I guess we'll start here. Science fiction's here. Oh, it's going to be great. Speaking of starting, he starts out that compilation, but we'll get into that in a second. We are in New England, but Matt, you're from Original Recipe, England.
Yeah.
How'd you guys come to meet?
Well, being a Lovecraft fan,
Yeah.
I made my pilgrimage to Providence back in 2016. And whilst I was there, I did a DJ slot. I just put it out there to find out what clubs were available, and I did a DJ slot. I was coming back in 2017 for Necronomicon and Halloween again. And the promoter from the night I DJ'd at got in touch with Elizabeth here asking if she had any kind of nights available for me to spin at, because they didn't, and it just went from there. She contacted me, we got chatting, and they say the rest is history.
Oh, that's the best. Oh, so you're our, well, I'll say our mutual love of Lovecraft, because I'm obviously a fan too, but in specific a fan too, I meant to say, but specifically in this case, you got to Providence for Necronomicon and the Lovecraft stuff, and that's amazing. And
Well,
go on.
that was the same year. That was the same year that because I used to run nights back in the UK, and not obviously spinning over there and doing my own nights over there. That's how we kind of hooked up. But then in 2017, when I came over for Necronomicon, we went to Salem on Halloween, and that's when I proposed.
Oh,
where we were dressed as Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Love it.
And then we got married.
Welcome to Space Couch. You're fine.
And then we got married in 2018 by none other than Jason Eckhart, who did the artwork for the album.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually got ordained into the First Church of Cthulhu.
Yeah, and so their abbreviation is FUCC, and their motto is "Fuck it."
Oh,
so
I hit the satiation.
We are officially married by "Fuck it," or the First Church, the First United Church of Cthulhu.
That's amazing. I love it. What's up to DJ D4 too? I think I already said hi to Ray, but he bears saying hi to you twice. That's awesome. I just got married myself, but now I want to get recommitted under the fucking church. Elizabeth, you are wearing a shirt with the logo of Goth-Ick Unscene. He's Mr. Ick. Okay, so
he's Mr. Ick.
Tell me about, now that we have this honestly sweet, beautiful origin story, let's get into the sordid tale of Goth-Ick / Unscene. How does that come about?
Well, it came about as my weak attempt at being a meme lord, actually, on Facebook. That's how the page started. Was, I think, if I remember correctly, the about on the page was the good, bad, and the ugly of the goth industrial scene, and basically I just posted up a bunch of stupid memes and everything. And then when hosting nights and running nights started to happen for me, I took a look at the page and I was like, well, nobody's using this. And I still feel that way in general. Like, I mean, we're like any scene, we can take ourselves a little too seriously sometimes.
Yeah, who would ever make fun of the goth scene for 20 plus years? So no, I feel you on that.
So yeah, it just, it ended up being, the idea was to have Goth-Ick be like the umbrella, and then anything underneath it had its own name. So Unscene is supposed to be the division just for the live events, basically, concerts or club nights, that sort of thing. But out of laziness, basically, I didn't want to make two different pages. I didn't want to make a Goth-Ick page and an Unscene page, so I just called it Goth-Ick Unscene.
Love it. Like, I mean, it works. And why just split that sort of media feed? I totally get it. And one of the first people, I think the first person to reach out to the Gothicals after moving to New England, we had a wonderful night with the aforementioned Big Time Kill and Snow Beasts in Providence there. That was amazing.
That was
one of there's the rap outfit Migos happened to be in town at the time. So after my first Providence show, there was a flyer for Migos on the windshield of our car. I was like, this is amazing.
What were the odds of that?
Right? Like,
that's Providence.
Thanks. You guys are on brand all the time. Damn. Ray was there. Obviously the sort of spiritual home of Lovecraft and all things Lovecraftian. Um, you kind of told me where to go for our first Necronomicon experience. That was awesome. I'd been hearing about it because I was such a fan of the HP Podcraft podcast, because those guys are they're from the Midwest, where Elizabeth and I are originally from, and then now they're ironically in England, I think in the Leeds area and LA. But they'd been talking about Necronomicon, and I was living in Chicago, and like maybe I'll get out there one. And then I moved to Boston all of a sudden, and it's in my backyard. Providence is 45 minutes away, would you say? Pretty awesome. So we got to do that. And it was like all my dreams, my horrid, influenced, otherworldly dreams came true. It's so amazing. Hi to Angie and on our first Periscope commenter. So thank you for that. The reason I bring all that up is the Lovecraft Arts and Sciences Council is like many businesses, feeling that coronavirus press. They have a brick and mortar store, which is amazing. I got not only a book of weirdness, but I bought a Dark Side action figure. So any place I can get my Dark Side action figures and books of weirdness, I'm all about. Well, don't let me put words in your mouth, but you somehow came across this knowledge and the need to action sort of arose from there. Tell me about the start of our recent joint venture.
Yeah, well, I was on Facebook, as most people are these days, and I saw Niles, who's one of the founders of the council, and he's obviously he's on the council, but yeah, he put a post up saying that they had a GoFundMe starting to raise money for the Lovecraft Arts and Sciences, because obviously they've been hit hard. My heart sank as soon as I saw it, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And, the last thing we want is to see, something prominent like that gone in Providence, because, it's just H.P. Lovecraft has done so much for the city, and he's made it popular with the weird and the strange.
Well, the council in and of itself, I mean, Necronomicon brings in so much money and tourism into the city. Like every 2 years, the city's just lit. You'll have the Biltmore will be completely booked, with guests plus other hotels. And it's just, it's a place where gamers and musicians and artists and, everybody comes together, and people come from all over the world to go to that. And so for the council to fall and for the city to lose that kind of tourism and money and more importantly, all that art influence, to lose that into the city would be detrimental. And so we just, when Matt pointed it out to me, and he was just like, maybe there's something we can do, let's talk to our friends. And I was like, yeah, because, that's the only way we can get by right now is, with help. So
I mean, after I saw it, obviously I donated straight away on their GoFundMe. And then the first person I reached out to was yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you seen this? Oh my God. I said, there's got to be something we can do, and, blah, 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 blah. And then you were like, well, I'll give you a track. And then it was just like, I think in about 5 minutes, we had about 6 people on board.
yeah.
So it was just like yourself, we had Snow Beasts, we had Dance City Armory, and, and it was like, yeah, I know this guy. And then it just went from there. And it was like, wow. And I mean, it took momentum.
Right.
about in 5 minutes after I saw Niles's post on Facebook, and it was just like, it was amazing. And over time, obviously we advertised it on the Goth-Ick page and stuff, and people got in touch with us, and I knew some people in the UK which would fit in with the thing as well. And obviously Carmen, who's on the council, she's a live performer for the Thrill Kill Cult, and I thought, well, they need to be on there, because obviously
Carmen of My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult is on the Lovecraft Arts and Sciences Council. That's fucking cool.
I mean, I reached out, and they, she said she would contact Buzz, and then when they said Buzz is going to do a remix of one of the, I was like, wow.
And it's awesome. It's not like some I did this on my phone on the way to work bullshit remix. It's a dope, really electronic and sort of wavy, dreamy, but like choice.
Yeah, I felt it almost has like a synth wavy kind of flavor to it too. Yeah, totally. It was definitely a departure from the original track, which I believe was just on their last album that they put out. So it was such a surprise and a gift.
You want to go to Putting the Stars. Well, where this is all going, this eventually turned into Putting the Stars Right out now from Goth-Ick Unscene in association with Tiger Squawk. All proceeds, and I mean all of them, are like going directly to the Lovecraft Arts and Sciences Council. We were very careful to put their PayPal address into all the auto pay stuff. So it's not like once we cover our profits, a portion of the blah, blah, blah. No.
Yeah. So, I mean, so far we're up to nearly 1,300 raised.
That's amazing.
After fees too.
That's amazing.
Fees.
Yeah.
So
that's straight into their pocket, which is great. Yeah, it's really awesome.
We're still haven't gotten anything on digital yet. I'm sorry about that, but that Spotify 2-cent check hasn't rolled in yet. But 1,300 on the Goth-Ick Unscene end is. I was going to say it's unprecedented, but while that wouldn't be untrue, it wouldn't be the most groundbreaking statement in the world, because you haven't done a compilation before. Like, so far as I know, this is your sojourn into that world. How did you find putting together, promotion? You're not outside of music, but you're not sticking you're not knee deep in it. Now you've actually got some music out, like you can point to. This is a compilation Goth-Ick Unscene did. Bam. How did you,
in association with Tiger Squawk?
In association with Tiger Squawk.
You gotta love that Tiger Squawk.
It's there's a lot of Tiger Squawk representation on it. Science Fiction, who's in the chat room now, has track number 1. Lots of exclusive tracks. The Gothsicles did a song about turning into a fish. Deep one for life. But the aforementioned HP Podcraft, the progenitors of that, their old industrial band, Pitch Black Manor, reformed. We got a new track from them on there.
I mean, some of these people even performed at like Necronomicon. Well,
let's get into that shit, because seminal, everybody's like the industrial band. Godflesh performed at the last in-person Necronomicon we were able to do. So we got Justin to do, or you got Justin to contribute a track from Final, the side projects on here. That's pretty dope, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I just thought, I think being a promoter helps doing the compilation. I thought, because I've been in bands over the years, and I've also obviously been, we've both been promoters over the years.
He's underselling himself. He's got street cred. He has performed at Wave Goth-Ick Travel.
Twice.
You motherfucker! You were just gonna let that go?
No, he's got major street cred. Do not undersell yourself. Sorry.
Brag a bit. What were your bands, man?
I was in V2A for 10 years.
Oh, you were in V2A? I didn't know that shit.
Oh yeah.
He's the drummer.
You were the drummer for V2A.
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
So so obviously being on the gigging circuit and being a promoter over the years, you kind of get to know people and you get to know other bands. So I mean, Glenn Love, I reached out to Glenn because we played a gig together in Germany. We played Electroshock Festival.
Oh, nice.
And he's a really cool guy. And so I reached out to Glenn. It's just, and like I say, some of the guys back home, like Chaos Bleak and Trevor Bamford. And he even put us on his radio station. I mean, I think we've had 3 radio stations put like special Lovecraft shows out to promote this, which has been awesome as well. So can't thank people enough for their passion to help promote it, and
yeah, totally,
brilliant.
That's really cool, man. Well, just as when you were saying before about how this band led to that and after the initial rush, like I mean, a lot of people easily rally under that Lovecraftian banner. Like, it's been such what a uniting factor to go, oh yeah, you're doing a Lovecraft compilation, I'm in. And I've had a couple reach out to me going, like, if you do another one, I want to be on it. And so
we did think about maybe doing something else.
Yeah, I'm sure the council wouldn't mind if we did another one. So and their gratitude has been amazing too. They've definitely shouted out to everybody on Facebook as well, and and email campaigns and that sort of thing too. So yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if we did a volume 2.
Well,
maybe we can shoot for 131 bands.
There you go. It's pretty weighty. The compilation so far. I mean, as it is, we were talking before the show. We've got the sort of EBM-y stuff from like us and Attrition as remixed by Facility and my old friend from Chicago, Wailuko, and who's in Boston now too. We both did the same weird pilgrimage. The aforementioned Glenn Love. Batavia, all new stuff from them. It's all over. It kind of feels like a Call of Cthulhu campaign. Like, you did a really great job sort of curating the order and the ebb and the flow and the okay, last boss fight.
I mean, like Elizabeth, her idea having that track at the start was really well thought out, that having Lovecraft's words at the start, because you've got the guy reading from the Terrible Old Man, and that was a nice idea to actually.
Well, it just made sense to me to take his words and to take that track and to put that first, because it's taking his words and transitioning into the music,
right?
And then it takes you on the journey from there. So to me, it's like,
your
hey,
party
the
is
words,
in a tavern.
Yeah, basically.
So I will do. I'll do another lap on just you want to check out puttingthestarsright.bandcamp.com. That's where you get it now. iTunes is giving me the goddamn runaround, but it should be up there soon. And but go to Bandcamp because I think we get more money from that anyway. Let's take a step back because promotion for me has always been kind of like a black box. Like, it's like I can do the music and I can put my voice in a podcast, but I wouldn't know where to start with promotion, really. Like, if I'm just a kid in anywhere USA and I want to start bringing bands to wherever I live, like, how does that happen? Do you just start making phone calls or emails, or what? Okay, I have the thought, I'm going to be a promoter. What's my next thought or action?
Well, it's a weighty question, just because, especially even right now, things are not normal. So,
Yeah. Why would you say that? I'm
speak.
kidding.
Speaking of normal times, I mean, first and foremost, intent is everything, because seriously, and I think that's with any business, honestly. If you go into anything you do, if you don't have passion for it, if you don't have like a severe love for what you're doing, then you're going to lose interest in it, right away. So, don't put any, time and effort into it. But, other than that, it's kind of like, I started doing it because I identified that there was a hole in this area, that there wasn't anybody who was specifically focusing on goth industrial acts and being a promotional company for them, because there were some DJs here and there that would do some shows on occasion, or venues that would pick up, some of the bigger names on occasion. But honestly, I was just really frustrated that there weren't any cool shows for me to go to on a regular basis. So I wanted to bring in some more cool shows. So, intent is everything. If you have a passion for what you're doing and for the scene and for the music and everything, then that's just going to shine through in your work. And that's what leads you. But don't do it going into it for ego, because you will fail.
Oh, that is such a good point. Oh man, love that. That's going to be the bumper sticker for this episode. That's such a good point. Because like, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people like get in that road as like weirdly like a D&D class, almost like, okay, I can't pull off DJ or band member, I'll be a promoter. Like, just if that's where you're coming from, I don't think it's going to work in terms of just like, I'm going to do this thing for me. But so, like, you're in Providence, let's say. Do you just start calling bars and be like, look, can I have a Tuesday or something like that?
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Again, it is a business when it boils down to it. And, the level of business that you want to attract is going to be based on, the level of business that you're entertaining for it. So, you can easily do this walking to like your local bar or restaurant that has a stage and saying, hey, I want to put on a show with a bunch of local bands and highlight them, and let's do a cut at the door. And that's like an easy way to just like start into it, because
that's awesome.
Pretty much anybody will take a risk on you in that way,
Okay.
And not only that, that's really just the easiest way to go about it. I came in guns a-blazing. The first show I landed out here was Leather Strip. So awesome. I just walked in and went bam.
Right.
But that was also due to the fact that, I had been involved in a goth industrial club in Minneapolis, and had met people over the years and knew people. And that's the thing, you have to be involved in your scene. You have to talk to people. But no, venues are going to cost you money, and bands are going to cost you money, and everything's going to cost you money, especially the bigger you get. So you have to not be afraid of the business side of things if you're going to do this.
And you have to take into account you may lose some money as well. So.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing too. That's where the ego comes into play, though. Sometimes too, is like, there are people, like, when I went into this, I had no intention of making any money. That, like, literally, I went into this going, I just want to break even. That's all I want to do, because I don't care about making money off of the backs of other people. I just care about giving them a place to be heard and to be seen, and to get, our scene out there. And, and I'm all about other people doing it. Like, seriously, the more opportunities that are out there and the more people that are doing this, then the bigger our scene is. And the more, the more exposure it gets, and the more people fall in love with it, because we have some really cool damn music, so it's pretty awesome music.
And very egalitarian. So often I see people go like, well, I'm the king of Poughkeepsie, New York, and no shows get booked unless I say, like, no, just, it's fine. More people can do it. Like, well, you're setting me up for these questions wonderfully because I wanted to ask you about your motor because you have just been crushing it. Like I've had back when we could do live shows. The Gothicals had so much more success in Providence than in Boston, where we live now. And, we got to open for Pop Elite itself, thanks to you guys. And just.
Who are also from my local hometown.
Oh, are they awesome? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we got to play with Stoneburner, who I've known for a long time, but I love, and Big Time Killer, like our brother band now. So, but like Providence was home to the first Gasoline Invertebrate live show. You've really sort of nonstop. You run Kink still. In Code World, to say nothing of the compilation, like where does this sort of freak drive super motor you have come from?
Good question. Like, seriously, I think I think if my mother was here, she'd tell you that I never stopped, even as a kid. But or maybe it's you can be all zodiac about it, and I'm a Leo sun, Aries moon, born the year of the dragon, so I'm just like fire.
Okay.
But really, I don't know. I just I've definitely had my struggles in life, and I've nothing I have has been given to me in any stretch, or form or shape of any sort. So it's like, I think I just have this passion to like live life and to live life at the fullest and to just try to do me as much as possible because, I've done just work a day job and go home. And we're all kind of doing it right now. Yeah. But, it's, and that's hard because my day job doesn't define me. It's what pays the bills. Right. And, as much as I've cursed it in the past, I've been very thankful for it right now with everything that's been going on. If I didn't have that day job, I think we would have definitely been in more dire straits, both of us, if we didn't have our day jobs. But, it's just, that's the other thing too, is I always say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And, maybe I see memes floating around like, your productivity isn't a measure of your self-worth and that sort of thing. And I fight with my own demons with that. You're like, oh, where's all this drive come from? And I'm the one who's always sitting around going, we're not doing enough.
Right.
We can be doing more.
I was saying this to a friend a few days ago, live every day like it's your last, because, you just need to make the most of every day. And, and I just think, I think music, everyone needs music, and it's a great healer, music, and especially when that you're helping, when you're helping artists as well. I think that's a big thing about it as well. It's just helping people, and especially if you hear a song, you think that is absolutely awesome. More people need to know about this. It's like
that's awesome. I love that.
Hence why we started doing some more interviews on the Goth-Ick Unscene page. So if there's any bands like listening and they want to be interviewed, get in touch with us.
You've done some great reviews and interviews on that page. You were the first one to do Gasoline as its own entity, and we can find more from Snow Beasts and other Providence friends. You just don't stop. You're on just a force of unholy nature, you guys.
We don't want the scene to die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to, because sadly, those of us like in our age group, we got into the scene through clubs, and through shows and being out in public and being around other people in our scene. And, with the advent of, internet and digital, and people don't have to go out, and people can feel disconnected and not feel like they're part of a community as much, especially in the real world. And, that's why even, when I DJ, it's like, yeah, I'll play the classics because I know everybody knows them and likes them, but I will also play new music from new people because
Pretty
there is new
awesome.
music from new people.
There is.
And, not all of it works in a club,
No,
but,
but
the stuff that does work in a club,
it
it's
really
like,
works.
you're going to hear it. So, we
That's
don't want the
great.
scene to die. We want the scene to continue
I
on.
mean, at the moment, we do have the advantage because we're DJing in a sit-down environment. You can play some more of the laid-back tracks.
That's
true. Mm-hmm.
So it's been nice to actually play some more of the stuff you normally wouldn't play on a dance night. But yeah, it would be nice to get dance floor back though. Because,
would be.
well, we miss the energy of the dance floor.
Speaking of the physical world, if we zoom out a bit, describe Providence as a city to me using Star Wars metaphors.
Oof. It's a trap.
There you go. Okay.
Because once you've been there, you fall in love with it.
Okay, yeah. The walls close in, but they're walls of love, and then it's the garbage mashers on the detention level of your heart.
Yeah. What was that quote Yoda came up with? Because it's the smallest state, Rhode Island. It's a small city, and
you should
Yoda
judge
says,
it not by its size.
Yeah, something along the lines of, I can't do a Yoda impression. I'll embarrass myself if I do. Size matters not. Look at me. Size, yeah, that one. Yeah.
There you.
So
yeah, perfect.
I think that's a great one.
Perfect. Yeah. You did it. Yeah. You did it. So there's movies in the world. Escape from New York and Escape from LA, where like in LA he does like just LA shit, like he surfs down a fucking one of those aqueduct things. If they're and they go to the like the plastic surgery horror museum with Bruce Campbell. If there was to be an escape from Providence, like what sort of stuff would he do? Like the most typical, like would he take a skydiving leap off that cliff overhang thing you have? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's where we got married.
Yeah.
On Prospect Park. Yeah. I reckon it would be.
Well, and Purge 3 already went there.
Yeah, Purge 3.
Purge 3 is in Providence. I didn't know that one.
Purge 3 was filmed almost entirely in Rhode Island in general, mostly in Woonsocket and in Providence. Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon Peter Griffin finds Stewie's time machine, uses it to go forward in time. No, he uses it to go back in time to expand the borders of Pretoria. And then he takes over the capital of Providence. And then obviously it builds a wall. Then Snake probably gets arrested again for some shit like he usually does.
Right.
Is forced to eat
Onlyville chili dogs.
Well, no, I think he's forced to eat this capsule, which will open in about 10 hours, and the only way to neutralize it is he has to get to the Olneyville to drink some coffee milk. I can't say it properly.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. To neutralize it.
Oh, so perfect.
He probably gets in. Gets the coffee milk, realizes he can't open it, needs a key, has a big fight with Stewie when he's ripped. You know, when he's in that episode and he's ripped. Has really a big fight, gets the plans for the time machine, escapes via the railroad bridge, the Crunk Point Railroad Bridge. A taxi driver converts the car with railroad wheels, jumps the bridge, escapes, and he drinks the coffee milk.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll need to work in like a strip club inside of a corrugated steel like building, and the what's a coffee milk?
Coffee milk.
It's a Rhode Island thing, apparently. I've tried
Ah,
it once.
I didn't
You
know it.
know,
All right, see, I'm learning.
yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Um,
It's literally just milk that tastes like coffee, but
All
I
right.
think probably the most egregious Rhode Island food is what, Rhode Island pizza, or is it Rhode Island just bread? I don't know. Somebody thought in Rhode Island thought it was a good idea to just serve pizza crust with tomato sauce on it,
Okay.
and that's it. No cheese, no toppings.
All right.
You get pizza crust with tomato sauce on it, and that's like a Rhode Island delicacy. Of
All
some
right, now I know. Oh, my buddy Brett Lawrence says Snake could also run into Harry Dunn and Lloyd Christmas. Furroy, friend of the show, says I tried coffee milk for the first time last year. Brett also asks, when DJing, are there any labels you really enjoy showcasing, or do you guys go by label at all, or is it just kind of like what percolates down into your DJ-ness?
What sounds good?
So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
generally pretty good
I mean,
call, right?
I tend to fall down what I call my YouTube rabbit holes, where I just kind of let YouTube kind of curate and see where it goes. But if I find like one or two bands on a label that I really like, I will tend to go to that label
Okay.
and see who else is on that label. And like right now, oh my gosh, I'm totally having a mind fart. Dark Tunes. I'm a
Oh,
Dark Tunes
yeah.
fan. Big time.
They do
Like,
some
I
good
mean,
stuff.
everybody on there right now is just like amazing,
Shout
and they're from
out.
all over the world too. So just yeah, I'm kind of.
There's a kid on there, Antibody, who reached out to me. Like, I didn't think he had a SoundCloud. He was just like a fan, and now he's on Dark Tunes, just killing it. So check out Antibody. I have to ask. Give me your, let's go, top 5 favorite Lovecraft stories. Ones that with number 1 is the best. No wrong answer. No wrong answer.
That's like asking what your favorite band is.
It is.
I mean, the first ever Lovecraft story I read was At the Mountains of Madness.
Mm-hmm. You started on Mountains. Wow.
Yeah, that was the first Lovecraft story I ever read. But my top 5, but I've got to say this in no particular order because I can't really.
Don't worry about it. It's a shit question.
I would have to say Whisper in Darkness.
Yeah.
I'm quite partial to that one. In fact, for my birthday when I came over to visit in 2017, Elizabeth surprised me with a trip up to Vermont. So
nice.
So I could visit the locations associated with the story.
That's cool.
The Shadow over Innsmouth, obviously. I'm wearing my Jason Eck. I'm actually wearing my Jason Eckhart. He did the artwork for the beer can.
Oh wow! Cool.
Yeah.
The Innsmouth old ale. So
Putting the Stars Right, illustrator. Yeah. Very
cool.
Check it out. It's a great cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Shadow over Innsmouth. That's also another great one. It's probably Lovecraft's most action sequence story. What with the chase and the escape from Innsmouth. Then I would have to say the Call of Cthulhu, obviously.
Right.
Then the Case of Charles Dexter Ward.
Very strong.
And is that 5?
I think that's 4. Well, 4 is good. Can toss another one in there if you want. We had Whisper.
Oh yeah. Bloody hell. The one at the church in Federal Hill.
Haunter of Darkness?
Yes.
Okay.
Because a lot of these stories, Haunter of the Dark. I mean, most of these stories are predominantly set in Providence or have Providence related, and the Haunter of the Dark. Before I even visited Providence, And because I like audiobooks, and I always like to go to sleep with an audiobook on, and especially Lovecraft ones.
Totally.
And I just used to put them on in bed in the dark, and you know, when you envision how a place looks in your head, but then when you actually go there to visit it and you see how it is, I just think that was, you know, sort of pretty, you know, amazing. So most of my stories that I enjoy the most, I think, have Providence related in there somewhere. Apart from the Whispering Darkness, obviously, because that's in Vermont. But I just that's just a great story with me going.
Well. Yes, well, great list, because I had a similar experience. We'd hit Providence for alchemy when you guys were good enough to bring us out there, but I'd never really done it prior to an Necronomicon. So it was pretty awesome to follow that Lovecraft map and be like, that's the Shun house. Ah! And or like, that's the Ward house. Oh my God. Ah! Like, Heidi, my wife, then fiance, now wife, was like, okay, it's cool, but you got to calm down. I'm like, ah! But Elizabeth, your fellow ex-Wisconsinite, like myself, I'm curious what you might cite as some of the major differences between New England and Wisconsin.
Oh, geez.
What a wonderful way to... Oh, geez. Like...
Oh, geez.
I got a bag of crayons and milk.
Oh, I always got a bag. I got a bag of crayons and milk, and we're going to go down to the store, and that's real cute.
Don't budge in line and wait for the stop and go lights.
But are you water fountain or bubbler? I think that's a really big question.
That's a very good question. I was bubbler like my whole life, and then people were talking about water fountains, and I'm like, I'm not like going to throw change into some but I want to drink. I'm not going for a swim or like putting out a lawn ornament on like a mafia lawn, like a water fountain. Why would I? So bubbler threw me. Or bubbler was my thing, and then it threw me when people did.
And see, like where I'm from, we'd be like, "Oh yeah, bubbler, that's so southy."
Oh, okay.
Because for people who don't know, I'm from Northwest Wisconsin. I'm actually from I'm much closer to Minneapolis, where I think you were much closer to Chicago.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. It's an interesting relationship because. I was in Milwaukee, which is maybe an hour and a half from Chicago. But the relationship between Chicago and Milwaukee and Providence to Boston is not dissimilar, but it's not quite the same. Like, I think Chicago sort of sucks all the coolness out of Milwaukee, and like it's a ritual. Like, as soon as between 18 to 22, if you're a punk rock kid, you just move to Chicago. Like, it's the law. Right. Like, you got to do it. And here I feel like it's there. Like, it's your cool neighbor across the street, but like you don't have, it's its own thing. Like, Providence and Boston can be just like buddies, and one doesn't have to do everything the other does. Did you say time machine at all, Elizabeth? Meaning ATM, because there was... Okay, thank you, because that was huge. I hadn't thought about that in 20 years. But Time, T-Y-M-E.
T-Y-M-E, absolutely.
Is the company that made what a sane person would call an ATM or a cash machine. Yep. So then when I moved to go to college, I'm talking about a time machine. Everyone's like, a DeLorean? Are you fucking high? What are you talking about? Okay. Thank you for that. I will also say people that always say that Milwaukee, Wisconsin was so flat, and I didn't really get it. until like here, where there's like, oh, that's a little bit higher than over there. It's not just always a 0-degree plane.
Yeah, that's one thing I will give New Englanders is that we come from the frozen tundra, and that wind that comes down from Canada, I don't miss that wind chill, the wind chill that cuts through your clothes, and it doesn't matter how many layers you have on, you get frozen to the core. I don't miss that at all.
Right,
but,
it's pretty cool.
Even look at this weekend, right here in New England. Like yesterday it was 70 degrees, and like today it's like 50, and it's like gonna rain.
Unreal. I can't.
And it's like your body never knows what the hell to do. It's like it's 70 degrees cool one day, it's 40 the next, it's 50 the next day, it's 20 the next, and it's
all over the place.
The joy of living on 3 jet streams, and whichever one is more powerful at that time.
Is that what it is?
So
okay.
It is. Okay. It is, because we have the one that comes, we are affected by the one that comes through Canada that affects Wisconsin. And then there's one that comes from Greenland. And then there's one that comes up from Florida. So it's whichever one is more stronger at that time is what we get. And it just like, we have schizophrenic weather here, The phrase where it's like, if you don't like the weather in New England, just wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Like, that's like fully true. And New Englanders have every right to bitch because it's hard on the body. It really is. It's like, spring and fall, it's like one day you're like, oh my God, I'm dying, I hate. And then the next day you're freezing your ass off and your body's just angry.
Yeah. I've turned the heat on and off multiple times in a day.
Yeah.
Right? It's schizophrenic out here, the weather. Big time.
Speaking of turning on the heat, Kink is back? Question mark. Full running?
Well, no, we're still a social environment, Okay. That's actually something that I do wear a really big badge of pride with, is that, obviously, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to the Alchemy Askew teams of club management people and owners. Like, we wouldn't be able to operate Kink if it wasn't for them, because Askew has pretty much been single-handedly cooking for everyone. And Alchemy ran out and got a restaurant license.
Oh,
and
nice.
we just pivoted. Like, we immediately pivoted. Like, they were like, what can we do to stay open, stay alive?
So Kink, let me just jump in for a second. For the audience, Kink is your weekly, monthly fetish dance night? Weekly fetish dance night, if that's the right terminology to use. And it's back up but socially distanced, or it's now a restaurant, or what's the deal?
Well, yeah, we've been operating under restaurant rules since we actually reopened in June of last year.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, we went through all the growing pains. It was, I know we were the first night that opened for Alchemy, but we may have been one of the first nights that opened in Providence in general.
Wow.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know we were one of the first ones, if not in general. So we had all eyes on us, like crazy.
Really?
Oh gosh, some of the stipulations we had were nuts. Like, it was volume. The police we were told specifically that nobody could hear the volume of the music outside of the club, or they come in and shut us down. So it was like all kinds of stuff. There were nights where like Matt and I were like, we're trying to beat match, right? And we cannot even hear the house system, and we're just like
playing on hard mode.
Yeah, big time. And we definitely had some moments of frustration at the get-go, just being like, we don't have a dance floor, and we're just glorified jukeboxes right now.
We're just grateful to be spinning, though, to be fair.
But again, our patrons, like, holy shit, like, we've pretty much like have sold out the club almost every single week.
Killer. Love it.
With patrons. Everybody has to sit at tables, and it's all the restaurant rules that are in place, but you get to at least come in and hear a really loud sound system. Even if you can't dance, you can still scream at each other over the music. It's like a regular night, it takes you right back there.
There you go.
But our patrons, like, geez, I just, I gotta give it up to everybody who comes out to support us.
That's really cool.
Because there were several other genres of and scenes of music that attempted to do what we did, and unfortunately and sadly, they couldn't get their patrons to pivot and to accept a social environment, but it worked for us. And I know we've been incredibly grateful to have something that resembles normalcy, even if it's not 100%. And I know that our clubs have been incredibly grateful, and you know, we're out there, and I can say again, badge of honor, not one infection at any of our nights.
Hell yeah.
You know, we're super, you know, we do all the contact tracing, all that stuff. You guys your name when you walk in the door, all that
really
good stuff.
Okay, you guys are responsible.
Yeah, no, we're
shit.
serious. We're serious. We're
That's
responsible.
really cool.
And the thing is too, it's a fetish night, and you know, kink. It's all about safe, sane, consensual. You know, what is safe? What is sane?
That
what
is a very good point. On brand.
Like honestly, you can't find a safer environment than a fetish environment like that, because we already follow those rules of consent anyway. So implementing those extra rules that we needed to put into place in order to keep people safe, you know, during COVID and everything was actually relatively easy to do. And people just were like, okay, this is what we have to do right now to keep the club going. Awesome. We'll do it. You know, and it's been great. It's been really awesome.
That's cool. Hopefully the city doesn't, you know, give you too much more flack or anything like that. But
no, actually, I mean, they you know, they let us reopen our dungeon. We can service 2 people at a time. You know, we sanitize everything between patients.
Love it.
And you know, we are definitely watched. We, you know, that's the thing, is nothing we are doing is under radar whatsoever. In fact, our club owners have worked so closely with the city of Providence to make sure that they, you know, that we are doing everything that we're supposed to be doing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we're in a way we're trying to be those paving the reopening people.
You know, somebody's got to do
that. Somebody's got to do it. We can't just sit around and wait for somebody else to do it. Somebody's got to do it. I am
glad you are at the tip of that spear. The speaking of weapons of war, I want to touch on this real quick. Prior to Corona, we had one of my favorites coming to Providence. It sounds like we might be still getting Funkerfolk from Deutschland. So Funkerfolk is still on the calendar?
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
You know, we did have to push it out to 2022, which was sad to do, but completely understandable. Sure. I mean, you know, it's hard enough for a national band right now to try to do a tour with all the different states being in different places right now. And like, okay,
you might be fully
over here. Like, seriously, what a nightmare. So for an international act to come over right now, like, you know, obviously when they, you know, sent the email and they were like, yeah, we're sorry we got this up one more year. You know, it was a bummer, but it's like, what are you going to do? Right. I would rather push it off and know that they're so earnest in coming, though. They really want to come and they want to do it correctly. They want to be able to have as many people there as possible enjoying them. And everybody on the bill is still all about it. And everybody's still, you know, is still signed on. But, you know, we've also given people the okay of like, hey, you know, if you do have to cancel on us because something else came up, it's okay, you know.
That's magnanimous.
I know that there have been other promoters on their tour stop that just straight up canceled their events on Facebook and just like wiped them off of Facebook. But, you know, I said to the touring manager that we all know that this tour is coming eventually, and that I want to keep the event live for hope. You know, it's just nice to know that that's going to happen. It is going to happen, you know, so why take it down? You know,
that's amazing.
I'm looking forward to it big time. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. I got to play with them out in Seattle. That was nice. Cool. And like we were going to do the Resistance Festival in Sheffield, England, actually, in 2020. And
is that still run by guy from Killimiranda? Well, ex-Killimiranda. Trying to think of his name again now.
Leighton and Phil are the guys that run it.
Right.
the and they're wonderful. And then Corona hit, and they postponed it a whole year. And at the time, I was like, Jesus Christ, a whole year? Like April 2021? And now it's like, oh, dude, if we only knew. So I bring that up by saying, yes, 2022 is a very understandable date for Funker folk who are still coming. Check them out in Providence by way of Goth-Ick Unscene.
It'll be June in 2022.
June 2022.
On a Friday. These are the things we know.
And it will be a devil of a live show. You want to check out puttingthestarsright.bandcamp.com. We are on a rogue flight path out here in space, and I'm going to bring this flying couch back on into the station. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything coming up? The next phase of Goth-Ick Unscene, perhaps?
Before that, I want to give a shout out when we are doing live events. There are two other people that work very close with us that are sitting here with us. So major love to Ben Rika. Mm-hmm. He is like our everything guy. I swear to God, it's like security, chauffeur, roadie, dad, big brother. He's amazing, and he's been working with me since day one that I've been doing this. And
get well soon, Ben.
Yeah, and get well soon. He was unfortunately involved in a terrible car accident. He was hit as a pedestrian trying to assist his daughter during the winter to get her out of a ditch, and somebody hit him with a car. So he's been recovering, and we look forward to him being back up and running. And then also DJ Chef Tom, who is a synthwave guru in his own right and does all that stuff, but he is our resident caterer. He is a pro chef aside from being a DJ. Okay. And
a green room host.
So anybody who has been with us on most of our shows has complimented the green room food, and that's all.
I will join that chorus. It's really good.
And without him and his help in not only serving delicious quality food, but helping us and just pulling together shows and everything, those two guys have just been awesome. But as far as future-wise for us, I don't know. We watch a lot of Shark Tank. Maybe we'll invent the next greatest thing.
We would like to work at, maybe have, hopefully get something together with Necronomicon. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
To work in conjunction with them, So hopefully we could hopefully make that a thing. I mean, it'd be nice to do more charity kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, it turns out you're really good at it.
Yeah, apparently.
Because we did talk about. I mean, I am partially deaf, and it was. It was before I even moved over here. We were talking about it, weren't we? About,
that's actually a good thing.
About sort of if at some point we could set up a night for deaf people that was for music, but they got it through sensory, like lights and vibration.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's something we've been thinking about for
you
quite
beat
a
match
while.
And drum and you're partially deaf. Damn. And that I mean, I was going into this with a big bucket of respect, and now that's doubled like that.
Well, big respect to John from Flesh Eating Foundation, who's on the compilation. I mean, he's partially. I mean, he has a guide dog because he's partially blind, and he's also partially deaf. I mean, I had these guys play at my goth night back in the UK back in I think it was 2005, and I remember him wearing a hearing aid then. But I mean, big kudos to John that all the music he churns out being like deaf and blind with to some respect, and it's just big kudos that music can do. There are no boundaries to stop you from doing something. If you've got if you've got a passion for something, you'll find a way around it to make it happen. So
that is true. That's something that it would be a huge passion project for us to either have a night or even a club that has a lot of sensory experiences for people
that
who
sounds
sing
awesome.
that sort of thing. Even something as minor as when you're putting videos up on the damn screen, put up the captions.
Okay.
Like seriously, there's a quote that, when you're in a crowd of people, look around and notice who isn't there.
Interesting.
And when you're in a crowd of people in a club, the people who aren't there are usually deaf people. And it's just, I have deaf cousins, so I know sign language. He fights with his hearing loss. And it's just something that people have told me, oh, that's too niche. Nobody would dig it, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I just think I think in general, for me, I see like nightclubs, in the future, they need to kind of keep that in mind, keep in mind, that you may have to create different sensory experiences for people to fully enjoy it and to really bring a community together. Because again, it's just about giving people opportunities and giving them a chance to experience life. So
friend of the show, DJ D42 is very much agreeing with you on Twitch. When you say put up captions, is that like the subtitles in a movie, or I'm not quite following? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like such a minimal thing that you can do. Even, a lot of clubs sometimes will put up movies in the background, on TVs, or just show like the music videos, or even spin videos, do
okay.
VJing. And it's like, if you're going to VJ, cool, but put the captions up,
Gotcha.
get something going so that, people who do have issues, because that's the thing, you may be deaf, you may not be able to hear the words, but you can feel the beat.
Okay.
And that's the beautiful thing about music, is even when you are deaf, you can still feel it. So if you can give people that other option.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? And I know I just cut you off there. I'm sorry. I got excited. Let's just jump into that Thrill Kill Culture track. Here's a clip of it. Wanted by no one. For that, you can check that out in its entirety, putting the stars right.bandcamp.com. So this is Brian for Space Couch, for Elizabeth, for Matt, for Goth-Ick Unscene, saying call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for Divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. Space couch ouch, you guys, this has been such a good episode.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. This is wonderful. I mean, would that, I think, vaccinations open up at least April 19 in mass. So we'll start getting that, and then we can perish the thought and hang out in real life. Oh my God. But yeah, this is awesome. This goes up.
Thank you, Brian.
No problem.
Awesome.
Hey, we will see you guys around.
Not hearing Brian.
Oh no.